celebrated the 14th birthday of our oldest daughter, Avital. 12 years ago, we celebrated Avital's second birthday in Boston. When we moved to Boston, there was a question about what neighborhood we would settle in. The primary reason for us moving there was we were becoming the campus rabbi in Rebbitzin at a new organization on Harvard College campus. And the organization we were representing strongly encouraged us to settle in Cambridge so that we would be closer to the students. And 12 years ago, we were more naive than we are today, and we said sure. And we started dutifully house hunting, apartment hunting in Cambridge. And we finally found a place that we were okay with. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. It was on top of a non-kosher restaurant at a street corner. And we were ready to sign. And then we spoke to my parents, my wife's parents, and spoke to my Rebbe, Reb Tzvi Berkowitz. And he was very clear. Absolutely not. You can't live surrounded by all of those challenges. You need to live in a place where you are anchored, where you have menuchas hanefesh, so that you can go and fight those wars during the day. I said, well, but the organization is saying that for me to be effective, I need to be as close as possible to the students. And he said, well, you can't project outward and fight those wars outside if you're fighting them at home too. The temptations, the influences, the ideologies that you're going to be battling during the day, that can't be also a battleground at home. The home has to be anchored in the community in Boston, where you have a supportive environment. And then, once you have that, you can go out and fight those wars. And that's what we did. Changed the whole course of our lives. We moved right near the Kollel in the Brighton neighborhood of Boston, where I became chavrusas with the Rosh Kollel Reb Zalman Leff, who to this day is our family's Rav, changing the course of our lives. Those of you following what's going on in the yeshiva world know that the Rosh Yeshiva of Riverdale, Rav Avram Osband, suddenly passed a week and a half ago. I was talking with someone this week who knew him and said he was what was characteristic about Rav Osband was his intensity and his drive and his energy, and he was able to go from giving a shiur to giving a fundraising speech to talking with someone about an interpersonal issue, bouncing back and forth with incredible intensity and focus. And someone asked, how is he able to do that? And they said it was because internally, he had such a clarity of purpose, a menuchas hanefesh, a sense of peace and of calm and of clarity. And that enabled him to fight all these wars on all these fronts externally, because inside there was that solid core, that solid foundation. And this is a lesson you see in this week's parsha. When Hashem gives you menucha, when Hashem gives you rest internally, then then you'll be able to go out and wage the wars and battle Amalek and destroy them. So a person needs to have this menuchas hanefesh at home to be able to fight the wars throughout the day, throughout our lives. But it's not enough to have that menuchas hanefesh. You also have to have a support group. You can't do it alone. Another pasuk in the parasha is ki setze machane al oivecha v'nishmarta mikol davaro. When you go out with a camp on your enemy, then you will be safe from all bad things. It's because you're going out with a camp, with a support group. That's going to keep you safe. That's going to keep you protected. Like living in Cambridge, you're just an isolated person. You can't compare that with living in Boston, you're surrounded with a sviva, with friends that are like-minded, that support you. That's what fortifies you to be able to deal with all the challenges. Football season just started, And part of what attracts people to football is it's like a war. It's not like a baseball game. It's like a war. And they have these attributes. The teams don't play one game after the next. They need to have a menuchas hanefesh. They need to have that settled, focused, calm core, to have that intensity outwardly. And they need to have a team. One player can't carry it. It needs to be everyone bringing each other across the line. In Elul, we are all preparing for battle. That's why we have the Parsha of Setze with all these metaphors for battling the Yetzer Hara. Rosh Hashanah is a day when we stare our Yetzer Hara in the face and try to notch a victory, another triumph over it. It's why Yom Teruah Yeh Lochem, one of the reasons we blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah, is because it's a day of doing battle with the Satan. And the shofar is a battle cry. And so we can take the lesson of this parsha that there are two things that we need to focus on to be able to succeed in this upcoming battle. The first is menuchas hanefesh. We need to have at home no battles. We need to preserve our energy for battling outwardly. That means at home. Do we feel like we're battling? Are we battling with our spouses, with our children, with technology? That's not what home should be. Home should be a haven of security, of comfort, of stability, of joy, of peace, of calm. If it's not that, then let's address it. Talk to someone, talk to me. Because we need to preserve that core of menuchas hanefesh, of v'haya b'haniach, to be able to wage the wars externally. And second, we need to have a machane. Are we a part of a community? Are we a part of a kehillah? You can't just live your life alone and expect to thrive in your relationship with Hashem and your relationship with Am Yisrael. You need to be a machane, and that means spending more time at shul. Whether it's for davening, whether it's for learning, or whether it's just to hang. You can't underestimate how fortifying it is to be around like-minded people. Just the fact that you come to shul and you socialize it with people, we all have the same values, we all have the same beliefs and the same goals. That is so fortifying. And if we take these two, so whatever time you're spending in shul, spend more time in shul. And together we can all strengthen each other, that when the Yom HaDin comes, we will triumph, we will succeed in our daily battles, in our weekly battles, short-term, long-term, and we will be zocha to aksiv achsimato v'asan all of Klal Yisrael, and Hashem will grant victory to us befrat and to Klal Yisrael b'chlal in all of its challenges with the Geula Shleima Meir V'Amen Amen.